Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CDO Magazine Field Guide interview series. I am Ben Blanquera with Rackspace Technology, a leading provider of multi-cloud services for firms on the data and analytic modernization journey. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Iván Herrero Bartolomé, Chief Data Officer at Grupo Intercorp.
Hi, Ben. How
Welcome.
are you? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk
Well,
to
it is.
you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it is a pleasure to talk to you, Iván. I love these interview series because I get to see the pictures of the cities behind folks, so you can see, and and everything I hear about Peru and the people and the culture and it's just pure beautiful. So maybe one of these days I'll get to visit that. So with that, let's go get right to it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your role, and your career path?
Yeah, of course. I try to make it brief. Although I'm connecting now from Lima, Peru, I'm from Spain. I was born in Spain and I lived almost all my life there. I was born in the Basque Country in the north of Spain. Then I moved to Madrid, where I spent 7 years working for Deloitte, business consultant. I'm an engineer, a telecommunications engineer by formation. So during all my career, I've tried to be as close to the business as possible, but I'm always keeping the link with technology, which is something I'm passionate about. But understanding that technology is just a means for bringing value for the business and for the society. So then I had the chance, I quit Deloitte, I founded what now we would probably call digital transformation boutique, and with another partner of mine, and then we had very early in our stage as entrepreneurs, we had the chance to go to Colombia. It was going to be for 3 months. I spent 6 years there. My partner is still living there in Colombia. I met my wife there, and then the story is a bit long to be told completely here. But we merged with Deloitte, and then I moved to Entity Data Colombia as the head of data and analytics, because during this track, I studied in Master of Science in Big Data and Business Intelligence. So I joined Entity Data and then spent there like 1 year and a half, more or less. And then I had the chance to come here to Peru to join Intercorp as their first chief data officer. So it's 5 years and a half since I came to Peru. And well, the funny thing of all of this is that my son was born here in Peru. So my wife's Colombian, my son's Peruvian, and I'm from Spain. So we are quite a multicultural family. It's like we seem like a representation of the UN when we travel abroad.
So do you have multiple passports? Do you have different country passports?
Yeah. Each one has its own passport. Well, my son has the 2 nationalities, so he's Peruvian and Spanish. But until some months ago, each of us had its own passport.
Oh my goodness! Oh my god! So you went from consulting, then you said I'm going to start up my own business. Then you did that
That's
for a
right.
while.
Yeah.
Then you came back in the corporate world, and then 5.5 years ago you joined Grupo Intercorp as their first CDO. Is that sort of the path around that?
That's right. And I think here at Intercorp, I feel that I've been able to join the experience that I gather both from working at the corporate level in consulting and my experience as an entrepreneur, because there was a lot of things to do here, and this was a new area. So I had to study it from scratch, and you can imagine coming here to Peru, to a country where I knew no one. So I had to go out, try to start meeting a lot of people to understand who was who in the Peruvian data analytics community back then in 2019. Try to build a team also from scratch, and it was challenging because Intercorp has a strong mark, but a strong brand, but they weren't doing much and related to data. So I had to convince people to quit their jobs that were already working in the data field and come to work with me in something that was completely new. And the thing I think we did really well was to establish a vision of what we wanted to create. And that vision helped me bring a highly skilled Peruvian talent in. And we've been able to retain, to keep that talent with us during the years. At least the most senior layer of people has been part of this journey from the beginning, and are still part of this dream. So we dare to dream big, and then we work together to make it a reality. And now it's funny because when we take a look back, and when I talk to the first people who joined the team, they say, I still remember the things that you painted on the blackboard when you were interviewing me, and most of the things that you said back then, now they are reality. So we've been able to walk along the path that we imagined 4 years ago. Of course, it's not been a straight line. We've had to find our way through the different obstacles that we found, but it's been an amazing journey.
That's oh my God! We're going to unpack this a little bit. I want to hear more. So, but let's back up. Let's for folks who aren't familiar with Intercorp, can you just tell us a little about the company, kind of its scale, what it does, and kind of what its mission and aspiration is?
Of course, yeah. Intercorp is probably one of the largest Peruvian conglomerates. We are a $10 billion conglomerate. Yeah, $10 billion conglomerate. And we operate more than 30 companies in sectors such as banking, insurance, private banking, in retail with different flavors such as supermarkets, department stores, home improvement. We have pharmacy chains. We also operate a clinic. We have investments also in education, where we try to offer good quality education at affordable prices, all the way from K-12 to universities. And we also operate some companies in the entertainment sector, such as hotels, cinemas, restaurants. So we are very diversified in terms of the sector that we operate in, but we are very focused geographically in Peru, where, of course, our footprint spans all over the country. You can find us both in Lima, of course, but you can also find us in the rainforest in Iquitos, or both in the north or in the south. So we have a huge footprint across the country, because our purpose is to make Peru the best place in Latin America to raise a family, to grow a family.
Oh.
And that's not just because we want to be the best in Latin America, but it's something aspirational. So that we want to make a positive impact in the Peruvian society, in Peruvian families, and by giving them access to high quality products and services at affordable prices, we are sure that we can make a big difference in the quality of life of every Peruvian. So that's what we are committed to.
Okay, so Peru focus. Let's make this a best place to raise our family and improve the quality of life across multiple ways to service that customer.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So given that sort of focus, I'm curious. When you get the call saying, "Hey, come be our CDO," like what was the purpose? What was the why they needed to start it, and kind of how does that grown into kind of what's your office's purposes? I mean, because you're going across multiple companies, that's got to be a really interesting balance to work at a holding company level as well as help each of the businesses.
Yeah, it is a challenge. When I was brought to Intercorp, the main goal of bringing a CDO was to try to understand our customers better, using the data from the different companies, and to use that knowledge to improve the quality of life of our customers, and of course bring value for our businesses too. But when I joined the group, I realized that was something that had to be done, and was like a dreamed opportunity for me and for any CDO to be able to understand our customers at the level that we can do it now, because we weren't able to do it just a couple of years ago. But we also had to level up the maturity level and the capabilities of our companies, because there was a lot of things to do. We had something similar to a data lake, but it was not a data lake. You know what I mean? We had some data stored in the cloud, but it wasn't properly structured and modeled in order to be easily accessible by the business and to be consumed in an efficient way. So we started our work with those 2 tracks in mind. To start by understanding what our needs were from the business point of view, and then trying to build this same customer view. That was not a priority for any company at the time, but that it was like a priority just for the corporate team, for the corporation, but not for the business units. So we started looking for opportunities to bring value for the different companies, but trying to match those opportunities to something related to customers and transactions. So while we were working on this project, these use cases, we were also modeling the data in a similar way. So we were standardizing the way we were storing information from the transactions or our customers. And by the end of the second year, we were able to pull the data that it was already modeled in a standard way, just pull it and build a single customer view for the retail companies, which were the ones that we started working with, and then we joined the information from the insurance company. Then last year we managed to make a connection with that's a couple of years ago with the bank, and more companies are now increasingly integrating with the single customer view across all the groups. So now that we have data, and at the same time, we've been developing some capabilities at each company level, we are building very interesting use cases on top of this data in different ways. No, you can use this data to enhance some predictive models, but we also can better understand our customers or work in diagnostic use cases to try to understand the effects that we're seeing on our different businesses and from a customer point of view. So if we are growing in transactions, where are we growing in transactions? Because we are having more customers, or we have the same customers, but they're spending more each time they visit our stores. So there's a lot that we've been working on to make this information usable and more easy to interpret and to go from data to insight to action at each company level. But that's a huge challenge. We're still I
that's
don't want
huge.
you to think that we're done. It's something that we're it's a path that we're working along, and it's probably harder said than done. It's
okay. That is tremendous sort of progress. So let me make sure, just unpack it just a little bit more. So you put on your entrepreneur hat when you first got there, because you got to sell this thing to everyone.
Yeah.
you got to create a vision, right? So you've got to. So part of your role is to be an evangelist, because everyone's saying, "I got a day job. I don't need to be doing this," right? so part of it is sort of the. It sounds like you spent a lot of time talking to your business compadres and creating a vision and trying to help them understand what the possibility might be. At the same point, you knew that you're not going to be able to realize those use cases at a Intercorp level if you don't start modernizing the data, right? So I imagine, like you said, there's a ton of mapping, because if you want to have a customer view, you've got to have things sort of set, your data dictionaries, all those kind of things set in place. And then I'm curious, you didn't talk a little bit so that's sort of like the data structure. From a technology kind of perspective, you said a data lake. Did you end up putting things in the cloud? I mean, I've worked with lots of firms, they have data everywhere. So did you end up having to standardize the data ops sort of work?
Right from the beginning, our strategy was to be cloud first and as serverless as possible, because we didn't want to spend time on architecting the different services. So that those were the two main criteria from the technical perspective.
Yep.
Then, of course, we have some data ops practices that, well, something that I haven't thought is that during this time, we've built our own data management or data government platform, which tries to put as less bureaucracy as possible, but it enforces some processes that just have to be done, you know. So if you want your data to be accessible for the business, then you have to add technical metadata, have to add some business metadata, and you have to add a business owner to the table. Well, it can be to the table or to a dashboard, because the platform that we've built now manages data both in the form of tables or views in BigQuery, but also for the dashboards and reports in Data Studio, Power BI, or Tableau. So it's agnostic to technology. So because different companies in the group can use a technology that they want to access their data. So we've built something that enables every company to manage data and their analytics assets in the same way through this platform.
Got it. Well, that's so you built your own data management platform.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did he just say he built his own?
I think I know the next question that you're going to make.
You know what's my next question, Iván?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Exactly. Why?
Why? Yeah, there are some reasons why we did that. First one was, I knew it was going to be hard enough to make our top management of the different companies understand that having a good data governance practices in place was important. If I added to that, or if I started the conversation saying, and to do so, I need you to spend like $100,000 each year to make something they don't understand and that they don't value, that conversation was not going to be very far. So I right from the beginning, we understood that we needed to lower the adoption barriers for everything that we wanted to achieve. And having this company spending, as I said before, several $100,000 each year for something that was important for us, but not really important for them, was the first barrier that we had to lower. So that was one. The second one was that we had time. We had the time because the maturity level at that time was low. So we had the time to build something which could fit our needs, our future needs, when those needs arise.
Takes a ton.
So we had the time. And the third reason was that we needed something that was easy to use, very easy to adapt to our particular needs, and something that we could evolve in time with our needs. And one of our main needs at that time was we needed to govern data and to govern how its company was going to access data, not just the data, but data from the different companies of the group, from the single customer view. So we need to build some automatic workflows for for asking for access and authorizing the access to the information. So and I think that was a bit unique to a very unique need that was not necessarily covered by the solutions that were in the market. So probably those were the main three reasons why we started our the adventure of building our own data governance platform.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of lessons to be learned. I talked to a lot of firms that they buy the things to use, and it costs a lot of money. And depending on where they're at in their maturity cycle, they only use a little bit of the functionality, right? And it creates a heavy load for the business users because they have to learn something new. Versus what I hear you saying is, I recognize I got to make this make it easy for them to say yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That was reason number one.
Like if nothing else, everyone should say, think about how do you make it easy for your business users to say yes.
Yeah.
Start from that lens. And that is really really cool. So I'm gonna switch tactics a little bit just to say your organization, because you said you had to recruit and hire and all those. Give me a sense of like how are you organized? How many people? I mean, it's a big organization or big company. So how are you organized?
If we think how we started with a team in the bank that was already in place when I joined the group, and we had some small traditional BI teams in almost every company of the group, very technical focused. And now we have we started with the central team, the central what we call the data office. We started with around 17 people the first year. Then we grew to around 70 people last year, and we also had around 20 people the corporate team for the retail platform, and we also have now data analytics team with different levels of sophistication in almost every company. So we have companies like our pharmacy chains, we have over 30 people working in data analytics. Then we have other companies that are have started their journey a bit later, and they have from 5 to 10 people. But like we are on our track, we are on our way of building these capabilities at the different companies of the group. And the way that we've done this is that we hired people from the central team, and then we've been moving this talent to the companies.
So they see
when they were ready. Yeah, when they were ready to have their own team. So we start assigning some data engineers and data enablers because it's the first thing they need to extract data from the transactional systems and make it available for the business. And then we have more sophisticated roles such as ML engineers or data scientists that we use to complement the skills and the capabilities that each company has. So it's been a journey from a central team. Now we are moving towards a more federated way of working.
Okay, got it. So Ivan, I want to jump to like success stories. Now it's time to go. Let me tell you some good stuff that we've done. And can you share a couple of stories how you impacted the business?
Sure. We have several use cases, but the one that made more impact was something that we worked with the pharmacy chains back in 2020. Yeah, we were in the middle of the global pandemic, and we had a lot of people coming to our stores, but we wanted to capitalize those visits and to be able to recommend products to the people who visit our stores in order to offer them a better solution to their needs. And so they have tried to do something like this some years ago, and they failed. I don't really know why, but we knew what we needed to be successful this time. And probably the analytical solution was not very different from the approach that was taken before, but we focused a lot on the human side of the problem. And this had a lot of dimensions. So first of all, we had the commercial team, which had been thinking of business or expertise-based rules to recommend some products when someone bought, I don't know, a product, then you should recommend this one. And they have put a lot of effort into making those rules. So there was like the feeling that it's not possible that something that just an algorithm can beat a human knowledge and the expertise gathered during so many years. So that was one side of the problem. And the other one was the people who actually work in the pharmacies had to believe that the information that the system is providing them or was going to provide to them was better than their own criteria. So we had to convince different stakeholders who were critical for the success of the project. And you cannot do that by asking someone to do what you want them to do. You have to, and is what we did, have to bring them to a team. Let's think of this together, and to deploy a change management strategy from the beginning. We've read a lot about change management. I would say we've read more about change management during these years than what we've read or learned from the analytics approaches. And we have a framework, we call it the 4H framework, which is something that we try to apply to each and every project that we're involved in. Is the first H is hence. Hence, you if you want someone to do something the way you want them to do it, they have to know how to do it. So you have to train them. And it's the first thing that everyone thinks of when we want to make a change in the process. So you have to train them. But it is not enough. Second one is the head, the hard motivation. So if I'm not going to, and that was very important because here the people who were using, or we wanted them to use the results of this model, they have a variable income. So if they sell more, they earn more. So if they were to start using the suggestions of the system, and those suggestions were worse than the one they had, they were going to lose money. So that was something that we identified at the beginning of the project, and I asked the CEO, for this project to be successful, we need your commitment to hold the bonus, the variable payment for these people, and independently if they achieve or not the goals that they have in the month, we are going to need to pay them the same amount. So the risk is not the people, is in the company. The money is going to be for the company, so it's the company who has to cover the risk, not the people involved in the pilot. The third age is the motivation. So we chose these people very carefully. We chose the pharmacists that were part of the pilot, taking in consideration together with the head of the talent team, trying to gather the people who are more willing to make changes, and we made them feel something that was true, that they were part of something that was going to be transformational for the company. So they were key. The success of the project were in their hands, and they were key. Their involvement was key for this to become a reality and to be able to scale all across the country and company-wide. And the fourth age is the head. So once we were able to prove that the pilot was making better results than the control group that we had, then we use the people that were part of the pilot to talk to their peers and told them about their experience using this and how this solution was helping them to serve our customers better and to do their job better. And we also asked our customers, and we compared the NPS value of the customers that were served using the suggestions of the system against the customers that were in the control group. And the NPS was higher when they were served using the results, the suggestions of the algorithm, because they felt they were better understood by the company and they had a more integral solution to their needs. So it was something that was good for everyone, win for our customers, win for the people working on our pharmacies, and win for the company. So based on those results, it was more easy to scale the project. We started that project. The first pilot was around August or September in 2020. By December, we had green light to scale it company-wide. So and there were a lot of learning during the pilot stage. At the beginning, we were not measuring the results properly, so it seemed that the control group was performing better than the pilot group, and then we're like, how is this possible? Then we understood that the pharmacies that we were using as a control group were not so comparable to the ones of the pilot group. So
Okay.
there are a lot of learnings from that process. And after that, that was our very first big use case, big success case at Intercorp. So that helped us go to other companies with this success in our backs and start working on different projects.
Okay. Wow, that you got to be awfully proud of that. That is, it's really interesting when I hear you saying is the technical part was not the hard part. Yes, there's some things there. It is the change management sort of component of things, and how do you actually deploy this in a way that everyone feels good about it. That's the hard part.
In my opinion, the technical part might be hard, but the human part is always hard. And if I don't know why, but I think it's very often oversight. We try to, we always focus too much on the technical side of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
But the analytical transformation is a human transformation. If we don't pay the right amount of effort in the human side, it's very hard to be successful, sustainably successful, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm almost saying this line says it's not digital transformation, dummy. It's a human transformation.
It is always a human transformation, but we call it digital transformation, and we focus on the first word and not in the second one. And transformation is about people, technology, and processes. Digital is just you can call it data, analytical, or AI. Whatever. But the transformation is not just a technical one. We have to transform the processes. We have to transform behaviors. If not, we're not transforming anything.
Oh my goodness, this has been fun, Iván. I wish I had another hour to chat with. I'd love to learn more, and energy is contagious and exciting. So here's a couple of things that I just took away. One, in the early stages, you got to be evangelist. You got to get out there. You got to talk to folks, right? Two, if you want someone to say yes, you got to make it really easy for them. So as a CDO, you got to think about what slows down. Three, think about a pragmatic approach to investment, which I heard, which says sometimes you can build your own if you have the time. Four, I heard you say, if you're going to recruit people, you better be able to paint a vision, and you got to get people going for it. And then the last thing I heard was it's about the big T, the transformation, not the digital sort of component. And you've got a great case study around that I imagine deploying recommendations where there is at some point a human interface to a human is not a trivial thing. But once you figure out that formula, it's pretty powerful because you can apply it lots of different ways.
Of course, it's absolutely it's very powerful because you add the proficiency of the analytics in assessing the next best product for the customer with the empathy and the knowledge of the technician to add not just the what but also the why this would be a good fit for your need. So it's a very powerful combination. once you're able to match the technical output with the human output.
Oh, this is fantastic. Thanks. All right, Iván, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And gosh, I'm going to call you again, and we're going to talk some more because I think there's a lot to unpack here. Folks, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews, and make sure you listen to this one because there's a lot underneath this to take care of. And then Iván, do you want to say anything about your CDO LATAM?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of things going on here in the region in Latin America. If you want to know more about us, you can follow us on LinkedIn at CDO LATAM, and there you can find the links to the videos of our sessions, the webinars that we're hosting, and we have a flagship event each year. This year is going to be hosted in Mexico City. So if anyone wants to come by and see what's going on in Latin America, you're more than welcome.
Oh, I might need to take a field trip down to Latin America, and I might need to retake some Spanish lessons so I can have some fun. Well, thanks.
So we'll wait to practice Spanish.
Oh my God, you got to show me the stuff. I can't wait, and maybe I'll spend a little bit more time in LATAM. All right. Well, thank you so much, Iván. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ben. It's been a great pleasure to be here with you today.